China has started drilling a well over 10 kilometers deep. In the Taklamakan Desert, Chinese engineers have started drilling a well that is expected to reach a depth of over 10 kilometers. Scientists from the Middle Kingdom emphasize that this will be an unprecedented opportunity to study areas of the planet located deep below the surface. If the plans are implemented, it will be the second deepest well in mining history. These types of holes are usually used primarily for research purposes. In this case, the drilling is carried out in an oil-rich region. So the authorities in Beijing are probably hoping to find oil and gas deposits. Such projects are not always successful. An example of a spectacular failure is the drilling planned in the 1960s in the United States. Unfortunately, its creators did not manage to speed up the work too much. They managed to reach only 183 meters below sea level, which is not a spectacular achievement. Only 13 meters of basalt in the upper layer of the oceanic crust have been penetrated. Further work successfully stopped financial problems and incompetence in management. The project was finally closed. Already at the very beginning, the plans of Chinese scientists are much more ambitious. It was immediately assumed that it would be possible to drill to a depth of over 10,000 meters. In this way, the Chinese, breaking through as many as 10 different layers of rock, intend to reach those that still remember the Cretaceous. This means that if they succeeded, they would have the opportunity to study rocks from 145 million years ago. However, in addition to the scientific value, this project will also have a practical dimension. Thanks to it, it will be possible to get acquainted with the mineral resources present at these depths and try to assess, for example, the risk of earthquakes. Although the mentioned 10,000 meters really sounds impressive, it is still not the record depth ever reached in this way. This record has still not been broken by engineers from the Soviet Union. A well was drilled on the Kola Peninsula, which is now known as the Kola Superdeep Borehole. Its implementation began on April 24, 1970. It was deepened until the collapse of the USSR. And even at the beginning of the existence of the Russian Federation, eventually reaching as much as 11,034 meters below sea level, the total depth of the borehole is 12,262 meters. But also in the case of the Superdeep Kolsky borehole, there was some surprises. First of all, water was found in a place where it was not expected. Interestingly, even before this project began, the world of science did not foresee that there could be water between the rocks at such depths. There were also found completely different layers of rock than those predicted. For example, basalt was expected under the granite layer, while in reality metamorphic rocks were found below the igneous type. On the other hand, it helped to confirm some theories that scientists had only just begun to believe in before. As you can clearly see, also Chinese engineers should be prepared for numerous surprises. Siberian permafrost has revealed perfectly preserved cave lion cubs from the Ice Age. A team of scientists from the Russian Academy of Sciences and the Center for Paleogenetics in Sweden looked again at the mummified bodies of two cubs of cave lions found in 2017 and 2018 in Yakutia in remote Siberia. The lion cubs were named Boris and Sparta. Both specimens are in excellent condition, and Sparta is considered the best preserved Ice Age animal ever discovered. Researchers in a new study used images of animals in cave art, and also compared cave lion cubs, Panthera spelaea, with African lions, Panthera leo, to better understand what cave lions look like. And these two Ice Age cubs offer an unprecedented look at the extinct species. The research results were published in the journal Quaternary. The lion cubs lay untouched in the Siberian permafrost for tens of thousands of years until they were found by Boris Berezhnev, who was searching for mammoth tusks. As the wildlife trade became more adventurous, people like Berezhnev turned to searching for mammoth tusks and other remains of ancient animals. This search is facilitated by climate change, which is melting the permafrost and extending the search season. Therefore, in recent years, more and more remains of ancient fauna have been found. In the last few years, the inhabitants of Siberia have been pulling out of the permafrost, e.g. woolly rhinos, wolves, bears, horses, reindeer and bison. Some of these specimens are up to 40,000 years old. Today's Siberia was home to many large mammals. Boris was discovered by Berezhnev in 2017. A year later, Berezhnev, about 15 meters from where he found Boris, stumbled upon a second lion cub. It was Sparta. Sparta and Boris were perfectly preserved by permafrost, especially Sparta. Her teeth, skin, and soft tissues were mummified by ice. Even her organs remained intact. The fur is almost completely undamaged, although a little matted. Even her sensory hairs, or vibrissae, have been preserved. Boris has slightly more body damage. According to the researchers, it was formed as a result of the collapse of the receding permafrost, but it is still in exceptionally good condition. The first study of a pair of lion cubs was published last year. They revealed that the extinct cave lions were a distinct species from the modern lions found today in sub-Saharan Africa. Genetic analysis indicated that the two relatives diverged from each other about 1.9 million years ago. We really don't know much about cave lions. And most of what we know comes from fossils and ancient rock art. Mummified bodies found in permafrost are some of the best evidence of their existence. Their frozen carcasses are remarkably similar to modern lions in many respects, but they lack one of the most distinctive features of African lions, the mane. The lack of a mane is also suggested by rock art. Analyzing the paintings applied to the walls of the caves, the scientists concluded that cave lions rarely wore manes, and when they did, they were extremely discreet. Boris and Sparta are young cave lions, which means it's hard to say how their fur would develop as they age. Scientists say that in addition to the dark coloration of the back of the ears, they are mostly covered with yellow-brown fur. If the cubs were given a chance to grow up, their fur would likely turn a light gray to aid in camouflage. The presence of the mane is important because it can tell us about the social structure of cave lions. For example, whether they live alone or in groups with a clear hierarchy. Currently, scientists are still debating whether cave lions in the Ice Age roamed the steppes of Siberia alone or lived in communities. In the French cave of Chauvet, there is an Ice Age painting that shows a group of cave lions, both male and female, hunting bison. Hunting in a group can be more effective than hunting alone, especially when the prey is large. Cave lions had many large targets in their ecosystem, such as mammoths and rhinos. In addition, large herds were more likely to protect the young from predators. The researchers wrote in the paper, "For now, it's just guesswork." Although some amazingly well-preserved specimens of cave lions have been found in recent years, we still don't have enough information about these extinct predators to draw any conclusions about their social structures. In the new research, the Russian scientists were helped by their colleagues from Sweden. They determined that both Boris and Sparta were about 1 to 2 months old at the time of death. Until recently, lion cubs were thought to be siblings. However, despite the proximity to the places where they were found, scientists believe that Boris is much older than Sparta. The dating revealed that Sparta is 27,962 years old and Boris is 43,448 years old. It is not known what caused the cub's death. Scientists found no evidence of predatory attack, but found that both specimens had cracked skulls, broken ribs and disfigured bodies, which is why they believe the lion cubs died in 2 separate mudslides millennia apart. Cave lions were widespread in eastern Siberia during the late Pleistocene period, but evidence of the species has also been found in much of Eurasia and even in North America in what is now Alaska. Like many large Ice Age animals, cave lions became extinct around 14,000 years ago. During the last major extinction. Fortunately, the freezing temperatures of the Siberian permafrost allowed the specimens to be preserved in exceptionally good condition, providing a glimpse into their former lives.